We all need a helping hand at one point or another. Throughout all of our lives, we fall countless times, and we fall hard. We become victim to the voice in our heads saying that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we're not attractive enough, that we're not worthy enough for happiness. We dig in our hearts a hole so deep it seems impossible to climb out of. But there are people willing to help. Therapists, psychologists, trained professionals whose passion is to help you take the next step towards happiness. And yet, we turn away. Why? To answer this question, I talked with one of my best friends, McGee. I can only describe him as an amazing listener, sincere beyond a doubt, and one of the most kind-hearted people I know. His story and growth with therapy is a story worth sharing, and it is my most sincere honor to share his story with you. So as a friend, I know that you go to therapy, but since we became friends long after you started going, I really don't know how you got into therapy.
It wasn't really a decision that I had a hand in. I was really struggling with lots of anxiety, which would kind of fall hand in hand with depression. And that's kind of a sad thing, that like if you struggle with one thing, it's kind of like, hey, you get all of the other negative things. But I would get really anxious and I would get really depressed, and from that anxiety it would kind of promote me to make really rash and impulsive decisions that would really affect my interpersonal relationships, not only with my friends but with my family. And so when it came to the point of losing a lot of people that I cared about because of the way that I was acting, once that kind of came over me, my parents, and I am blessed to have the parents that I do, were like, we need to do something about this and about you. We don't want to act out of your permission, so we will give you these resources, and whichever one you choose to go with, we will completely help you with, but you need to choose something. And a lot of the options were like, hey, I could be homeschooled, or I could stay in the hospital for a little bit, or things that would really affect my normal everyday life. And I didn't want a change that drastic. I wanted to feel like I was still in control of the things that I was able to do. So therapy seemed like kind of like a scapegoat at the time. But now that, you know, I'm such a huge advocate for it, I can't shut up about it. I think that I definitely made the right decision, even though it didn't feel like the right decision at the time. It felt like something I was forced into.
So why do you think there's that negative connotation? Why do you think there's that negative stigma attached to therapy?
There's an idea that you only go to therapy if you're feeling bad, and if you're sad, or if you're anxious. And of course, that is a really efficient coping mechanism to use, is going to therapy and talking about your feelings. But I think a lot of it also is that people don't really know what happens in a therapy session. So what happens with me is that she asks, you know, how I am and how I'm doing, and I kind of mention the most impactful things that have been going on with me. And therapists are very observant. It's kind of their job. So they want to know what's really going on. Like, they want to know, hey, why is, like, this, if you have a question about the way that you're feeling, they're able to not only answer it, but also if you're struggling with something as deep as depression or anxiety, as deep as they can be, they're able to recognize how it's affecting your everyday life. And sometimes medication is a good way to change the way that you're feeling, and to make it easier to function, but also excluding the advice part. It's just a way to bounce your thoughts, like just a person to bounce your thoughts off of, with no judgment, like, at all. And then also, they're not allowed to tell anybody what you talk about.
Like most things that are worth it in life, therapy is a process. It takes time, effort, and energy to truly feel the benefits. And oftentimes, it is difficult to truly understand that notion. How have you struggled with therapy, and have you doubted its importance at times?
Definitely. I think everybody that has gone has doubted if it was working or not. One huge thing that I thought going into the process was that it was gonna make me happy immediately, and I was gonna feel better immediately. And when one session passed, and when 2 sessions passed, and when 5 sessions passed, and I wasn't immediately feeling better, I got really mad at the whole process, and the fact that it was a process and it wasn't something that was immediate. The truth is, there's no real immediate payoff, especially if that's what you go in expecting. Once you go in knowing that it's going to take work, it's going to take a lot of tears, it's going to take a lot of time. And one thing that's really beautiful about the process is that a lot of the time you won't even feel like you're growing because of how progressive it is. It's really when you sit back and think about, hey, this time last year or this time last month, I was in such a worse place than I'm in right now. Taking those moments to be reflective, and being able to realize that, hey, I am doing this. I am making myself feel better. I'm going to the appointments and I'm applying what I've learned. Once that's really put into place, and once you start putting things into practice, that's when you realize that, yeah, I'm not going to be happy immediately, but I'll be happy eventually. And all the steps that I'm taking, even though they're exhausting, and even though a lot of them don't feel very big, they're all movement, and they're moving you towards feeling better. And I think that being a part of that process as a therapist must be the most rewarding part of the job.
How do you feel like your life would be different if you had never gone to therapy?
When I first started therapy, I was stubborn, and I was tired all of the time, and I had no friends, and I refused to acknowledge how I was feeling. Both, I think, because I didn't want to deal with the repercussions of everything that I had, every negative thing that I had done, as well as not wanting to deal with any of those thoughts themselves. They felt too big. But also because being helped didn't feel like an option either. And I doubt that I would be anything close to a good person now. I'm still very tired. I love naps. But I've now learned that it's completely okay to have an off day. And it's completely okay to feel weird and feel different. Because feeling weird is necessary to not feel weird anymore. And not only that, I'm no longer alone. I have a really, really stupid family that I love so much more than I should. And I have the best friends ever. I'm so lucky to have all the people that I have in my life. And for them to also see the progress that I've made and continue to make is so rewarding, and it makes it so much easier to find motivation to get better even when I feel like I don't want to anymore. I'm just so much happier than where I was when I started, and I've had low points since then, but I have so many more reasons to get through those low points than I did beforehand. So I'm very lucky. I'm very happy.
So wrapping this up, what would you say to someone who's struggling and needs to see someone, but is finding some reason not to go to therapy?
I would tell them that they are not the first, nor will they be the last to feel that way. And that it's gonna feel weird, and it's gonna be a little awkward at first. But know that everyone needs it, and the only thing that it's gonna make you by going is strong. It is amazing, and you will be so happy and so proud of yourself once you make the decision to go. And if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. There are so many other options to find ways to feel better. But if anyone wants to feel better or to become a better version of yourself, I would definitely throw that word into their face.
Dear Marcus, your growth astounds and it shakes me to my core. It is something worth sharing and celebrating. But don't take it from me.
Marcus, you're awesome. Like, genuinely, I love you so much. I'm constantly blown away by just how kind and caring you are, and how you know how to bring a smile onto everybody's faces. Like, it blows my mind. You're incredibly wise, and I love you, man.
Hey Marcus, it's Joy. I just wanted to let you know that I think you're amazing. I'm so proud of you and the way you've grown the past few years. I've known you for a while now, and we've never been as close as we are now, and I'm so blessed to say that I'm friends with you. I'm so thankful for you. You don't know how much I appreciate you, because I don't say it often enough, but just the way that you treat your friends and the way that you treat other people and the way you treat me inspires me to want to be the best version of myself. So I just wanted to let you know that I think you're awesome, and I'm so glad that I've had the chance to get close to you. Bye. Love you.
Alright, Marcus, I just want you to know that so many people are so proud of you, of how much you've grown, even in like the past year. It's amazing, like, how things have been so rough, and you've just taken that and you changed that so quickly, like in a year. It's crazy, and I hope you stay amazing, and I
Hi Marcus, I love you. I'm proud of you because you've just grown so much over the past 2 years that I've known you, and I can't wait to continue to see how much you grow in the next few years. You are just the most fantastic listener I have ever met, and I'm so proud of you for not only listening to other people's stories but for sharing your own, because it genuinely has an amazing impact, and I just want to encourage you to continue to do that because your story matters and you matter, and I love you.